Calling this special meeting to order Monday, January 13th at 5:30 p.m. We are going to interview for the vacant East Region seat. So if you could go get the candidate, that would be great.
I'll do that.
Hi, Carolyn.
Carolyn, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see us?
No,
Even better.
But I-
Okay, good.
Joe's profile picture.
Floors done today?
What was that?
Are the floors done?
They are stained. The first coat of protectants is going on today and tomorrow. We get home tomorrow night. So we'll continue to stay off it for a day or two and then it's all fair game.
Awesome. Okay, candidates here.
This microphone, now that it's on, get comfortable, but pull it close to you so that people can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to remind you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So how this is going to work, we're going to ask you some questions. If you have any questions for us, we'll be here to answer those. And then when that's over, we'll excuse you, we'll review our notes, call you back in, and let you know the board's decision.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to tell us a little, start it out by telling us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure.
Sorry, just so you know, we have one member who's up there if you haven't figured that out.
No
That's
problem.
Carol Desai.
Personally, I'm a resident of Mukwonago for the last 12 years. My wife is a lifelong resident outside of a little bit of time that we spent living in Waterford before we moved over here. 45 years old, been married for 20 years. I have a freshman daughter at Mukwonago High School. My older daughter is a freshman at WCTC right now. My wife works at the high school in the main office. Professionally, I work for the Lynch organization. I think we do a little bit with the high school as far as like football stadium and stuff. I'm the general manager there, coming up on 7 years as the GM. I've worked for the company for just a little over 10 years. Kind of been in that type of position for the last 16 years. So it's kind of one of those things where I look at it like this is maybe my next step to helping out in the community and just participating in the community as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Burtz?
Can I call you Jim or is it Mr. Olson?
Jim would be great.
I just want to say, Craig's got some really pretty glasses on, nice and purple.
It's a tough crowd, Jim, just so you know, okay?
Sounds like it.
I'll tell you my story about the glasses later. Jim, a couple of these questions are kind of similar, kind of not, but I think you know they were coming. But the first one is, what do you think the role and responsibility is of a school board member?
Responsibility of a school board member is to obviously contribute to the board as a whole, help provide oversight to the school district, to not only provide oversight but also assistance to the superintendent, just kind of set the path for the district as a whole, as a group function, I guess, in my opinion.
Thanks, Jim. Number two is, what are the major roles and responsibilities of school board members? And B, what is the role of the superintendent?
Okay. School board members, I think, need to be, I guess the right way to say that, community leaders. Definitely need to be involved in the community. As a whole, making sure that we're keeping the district fiscally responsible, providing a good education for the kids. Individual responsibility to me would be to make sure that I'm here attending meetings, having my input, and sharing how I feel the direction of the school district as a whole should go, based on my experience and opinion. Role of the superintendent is to make sure that everything that we want done happens.
Thank you, Jim. Number 3, when voting on issues or policy as a board member, on what would you base your decisions?
That almost the same answer. Some of the community input obviously would be incredibly important. We're in a fairly small community, but previous experience and same thing, you know, obviously I would assume that the school operates in a very large budget as a district, keeping that within what we can support as a community and doing the things that the community expects of the district as a whole.
Jim, can I just keep going here?
Sure.
If selected for this school board position, what are 5 goals you would like to achieve while on the board?
I think number 1 would be quality education for the kids. That's really, to me, we probably, I don't know if you guys all have kids in the district, but I think that my kids spend more time in school than they do with me. So it's very important to me that they're provided a good education, appropriate discipline, opportunity possibly for extracurricular activity, that type of stuff. I'm not super well versed. I have some feedback on student safety and security while they're in school. That's a huge one today, with the expectation that there are no issues, there's no problems that arise from classmates or stuff like that. I think everywhere. I have some friends that are teachers. I have a good friend that's the superintendent for the Waterford High School, or for the Waterford School District. And I think that possibly coming up with a game plan to attract the very best teachers is one of the best pathways to leading to the best education that we could provide for the kids. Probably would be my top. I don't know if I have 5, but I think those would be.
You did good.
Awesome.
You did good. Thank you.
Any other follow-up questions? Do you have any questions for us? Oh.
We've got some extra time. Is there anything else that you haven't told us through the questions that we've already asked that you want us to know about you?
I don't have a lot. My work history is pretty simple. I've only had 2 jobs in my adult life. I went to college to be a police officer. I spent 2 years at Lakeland University. I left that schooling to get my basic law enforcement certification through WCTC. I did some construction work and moved into, I just decided that law enforcement wasn't going to be my path. I moved into this professional field about 17 years ago, and I've continued in it. I've been in a management or supervisory role the whole time, so I work with a lot of people. The store that I run for the Lynch organization has a little over 70 employees. So I understand that you can't please everybody all the time, but sometimes decisions are tough. They're not always popular. And based on the feedback from some of the people that I've discussed this situation with, I've had a lot of people that advised me not to get involved in this because you're not always going to be popular if you're on the school board. But I feel like I have good work experience, good background. I understand kind of budgeting, overall performance, and the things that go into running a business. And I feel like while we're not necessarily a business, the school district has a lot of parallels to what I do for my full-time job, and I think that my experience could be valuable to the board.
Dr. Cook, could you just go through the east seat requirement again for what Jim would, is it up again in two years, or is it, could you just review that real quick for us, please?
Yeah, so this seat was made vacant by Gail's resignation. Gail would have been up for reelection in April of 2026. So the position will be in place once approved by the board. We are in January, presumably seated by February, March, April of this year, and then 12 months after that. So then to stay on the board, then you would have to follow the election cycle then that all the other board members would that particular year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Carolyn? All right, well, we'll take a little break. We're gonna review our notes and then we'll call you back in when we make a decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Jim.